Do you have any ideas about how you would solve the small boats crisis?
Yeah, bring back Margaret Thatcher.
Put landmines out there.
Stop it, turn them back.
Deportation, really. I mean, Rwanda was a good idea. They never give it a chance.
I personally think we should be more like Australia, to be fair.
It is a tough one. I mean, like I said, there's nothing wrong with immigration as long as it is controlled.
There is no simple answer to it, it's clear as that. And various governments would have done something about it by now if it was simple and easy.
Do you have any ideas for how immigration could be lowered or the small boats crisis could be solved?
We'll stop France from following them all the way to our borders.
Really?
The Navy following them and leading them to our borders. Stop it, turn them back. Take them back to France.
Do you think the UK needs to be tougher on France?
Yes, massive.
Put landmines out there.
Do you think?
Nah, there's more could be done on both sides. You know, some sort of barrier put up in the sort of the stretch that they're coming over. There's lots of ideas, and get the Royal Navy out there sort of thing. It's all going to cost money, but...
You think a Trump-like wall in the channel?
Yeah, you get all these floating buoys. You know, why not? The Army, Navy could get together and build something and anchor them there, you know, but put it on the border between our side of the English North Sea and the French. You know, just make it awkward.
Well, the deportation, really. I mean, Rwanda was a good idea. They never give it a chance, but I believe it had started to work because some of the immigrants were going to Ireland, which was a start, like, you know. But any sort of deportation or offshore processing, I'm sure would deter people from coming. And that's what you've got to do, really, not to turn the boats back. You've got to deter them from getting in the boats in the first place. And deportations would do that straight away.
I think, right, that being in Clacton is the furthest away we can get from immigration.
Really?
Yes. Don't get me wrong, right, immigration is getting moved out of London because the property prices are high and they're getting bought out to buy properties in Chelmsford, Colchester and everything. Like, to get moved out, to buy their places, the council places, wherever they are in London, pushed out because the property prices are high there and they're moving them out and they're slowly getting, but we can't go no further than this.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. The amount of illegal immigrants, the implications of the cost on the sort of general, I'm retired now sort of thing, I'm not working as such, but for a working person, you know, the amount of money they've got to pay out for all the hotels they're staying in and the cost of living, it's just keeping them, you know, they're doing nothing, you know, for the country sort of thing.
I think the best thing to do is, wherever they're coming from, is to try and sort of do a communication with them. I think that's where it's a link, where it's missing. All this sort of sending back and forwards, and just speak to that country and ask them, you know, how they can start from their end. It can't just be from our end. It must start from one end or the other. So that's it, yeah, try and communicate a bit more.
I personally think we should be more like Australia, to be fair. There should be some sort of point system. But obviously, I'm not into politics, so I don't really know how things like that work. So yeah, I think we should be more like Australia, a bit more tighter on our borders. I wouldn't know how to stop the boat people. I think that needs to be something they need to discuss with places like France, who allow them to come over. They get to a certain point and they're like, right, it's your issue now. You know, they need to have like that sort of conversation, I think, with places like France.
Why do you trust Nigel Farage to tackle immigration? Because obviously we've had successive governments try and fail.
Well, you've got to give other people a chance, because you've had the Conservatives in, they talk a good talk, the same as Labour, but nothing seems to happen. And all they keep doing is throwing money at France, throwing money left, right and centre, and nothing happens. More boats come over. And you've got to give someone else a chance. He talks well about migration, but he can't do no worse than what we've had already.
I don't think he's as frightened as the others. The major politicians seem to be terrified to rock the boat. They want to change. They don't know how, they don't know what to do, and they're terrified of upsetting everybody else.
Immigration, to me, is not a massive concern. It's more the people that come over, you don't know who they are. You know, if they're coming over genuinely to protect their family from war zones, and if they're coming over to contribute, to pay their taxes, you know, and do it the proper way, then absolutely no issues with that.
I mean, it's a tough one, isn't it, really? I mean, obviously, we pay France a load of money every year for them to help stop the boats coming over. And it seems like it's just money being thrown away. Again, you've seen things in newspapers and on social media where it looks like the French authorities are not stopping the boats. But it is a tough one. I mean, like I said, there's nothing wrong with immigration as long as it is controlled. There's so many countries in the world that will have allowance for immigration. But like I said, it's about limiting that and making sure we're a small island at the end of the day. We only have so many houses and so many flats and so many hospitals, etc. And it's about managing that really. But in regards to what the government could do to kind of get it under control, I'm probably not the right person to answer that. But I would say, I mean, it's such a tough one, isn't it? Because there's no real right or wrong answer. I think maybe not necessarily throwing as much money towards France as an example is not necessarily the right way of doing it. Maybe also not hand Rwanda all these millions of pounds they paid, I think, to deport 2 people, whatever it was in the paper. That number's probably more, in all honesty. But I think there should be, if you come over and you've got your documents, yes, go into like, whether it's a migrant hotel or whatever it may be for a limited amount of time. And then if you are passed through the system correctly, fine.
Is there lots of immigration into Clacton? Is that something that you've seen?
Not so far, but we know it will come because we travel around the country, we visit other places, and we've seen places where it already is, and we're just next on the list.
We know a couple of places in Clacton that have got migrants in them. There is a couple of places, but they don't broadcast it.
Yeah, bring back Margaret Thatcher.
Do you think she can solve it?
No, I really don't know. She was a stern woman. She got things done. People didn't like her, but she did get things done. I don't think anyone who says they're going to go into power, they say they're going to do things. They don't. I don't trust them one bit. Do not trust them one bit. All they're at is for themselves. Migration, spending money on Ukraine, Russia, supplying the weapons, and I don't know.
He thinks he can solve the immigration problem, the boats. If there was a simple problem, it would have been solved by now.
I mean, he was proposing scrapping the human rights legislation because it would make he said it would make deporting people easier.
It would make it easier, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's the right thing to do, in my opinion.
Would you be concerned that scrapping that legislation could impact the rights of other people in Britain as well?
Yeah.
I mean, you said that it's not a simple solution and it's not a simple problem. Why do you think that successive governments have struggled to get a grip on this issue?
Because there is no simple answer to it, it's clear as that. And various governments would have done something about it by now if it was simple and easy, but it's clearly not. That's why it still exists.